ātmaivedaṃ jagatsarvaṃ jñātaṃ yena mahātmanā yadṛcchayā vartamānaṃ tam niṣeddhuṃ kṣameta.
The wise man who has known this entire universe to be the self alone acts spontaneously. Who can forbid him? Acharya's commentary lines. Even the Vedas dare not prescribe do's and don'ts to a man of realization. The freedom has been allowed to a man of perfection by scriptures only because in his transcendence his ego has completely ended, and therefore he has been rendered incapacitated to act wrongly or to think ever viciously. Just as a great dancer can never go wrong in her steps, so too a man of perfection cannot step out from the righteous path. His actions might be misunderstood by his generation. How can the beasts of burden, panting with their instinctive activities, understand the harmony and rhythm in the bosom of the perfect? Unquote. A jnani has transcended his mind, erased all vasanas, crossed all duality, and lives in the state of kaivalya. All rules of society, all instructions in Dharma Shastra, Manu Dharma, etc., are for men in the world, not for the man who has transcended the world. There is never a thought in a jnani's mind, I should do this now, or I should not do this now, or this is correct or this is not correct. He is totally free, not bound by anything in the world. Yet, as Chinmaya said, in his sahaja sthiti, whatever he speaks, whatever he does, are all perfect, and all of them define the way of life for those who have accepted him sincerely as their master. Many times, his actions are not understood fully even by those who are very near to him. Sometimes, he may be silent with few who are apparently closer to him in the spiritual path as his disciples, and on the other hand, he may embrace or he may be compassionate to those who avoid him, who ridicule him. All these things are not understood by people even if they are very close to him. This is so because he has no mind to deliberate and decide on what to do and what not to do. He just acts spontaneously as per the command received within, intuitively. Many times or few times, his acts are not accepted by men of practical wisdom in the world who would not do such acts as done by him, as taken up by the jnani. Such practical men view his acts from their practical wisdom and say why he did like this. Men who are ruled by their mind can never understand the ways of a man of wisdom who has transcended his mind and who acts only by the command of his inner voice or intuition. In fact, if one understands the similarity between the acts of a child and acts of a Jivan Mukta as per the first two verses in this chapter, it is easy for them to relate today's verse to the first verse. Does a child know any rule of society? Does a child have shrewdness to think how to act, how to speak, how to deal with people of different nature, how to curtail its expression, how to be diplomatic, etc.? No. The child just acts spontaneously as it feels, but one thing is for sure, it does not have any stored impressions about anyone. It also does not have too much of desire. It doesn't have desire at all. Exactly, a jnani acts in the same manner. He does not have any desire. He does not have even the attachment of a child in the sense of the child's attachment towards its mother, etc. And the jnani also does not have shrewdness of how to act, how to speak, how to deal with people of different nature, etc. Sage from Ananda Kutir Hrishikesh writes on such a jnani, quote, "The ways of a jnani are mysterious. Only a Jivan Mukta can know another Jivan Mukta." The description given of a jnani in the Bhagavad Gita and various other books is quite inadequate, incomplete and imperfect. His state can never be imagined by the limited mind and can never be described by the finite speech. He shines in his own pristine glory. He will sometimes appear like a sarvagya, all-knower. He will sometimes appear like an ajnani, ignorant. He knows when to act like a brahmanishta and when to behave like a fool. Do not judge him. If you approach him with the proper bhava, with faith, devotion and spiritual thirst, he will impart the highest knowledge to you. If you approach him with a bad motive, he may behave like a madman. Great will be your loss then. A Jivan Mukta is not a whimsical man. He is not bound by the rules of Shastra or society, and yet he will not deviate from Dharma at all. All that he does will be in strict accordance with the scriptures or sacred books. He spontaneously does only what is good. Unquote. Chinmaya writes about a verse from the Mahabharata where Sukadeva himself says, "One in whom all sense of distinctions has ended, concepts of virtue and vice have rotted away, Maya and its delusions have lifted, all doubts have ceased. One who dwells beyond words without the three qualities, awakened to the reality ever after, moving on the path of egolessness, to him who can prescribe what he must do and what he should not do." Unquote. Many times, people who are closer to him, supposedly, even his shishyas, they give him practical advice. And almost in all such situations, he keeps quiet. He doesn't want to annoy them, so he keeps quiet. But he has crossed that sense of practical wisdom or practical talk, practical thought, etc. At least when it comes to teaching or imparting knowledge. Whatever comes from within, he does. Few times it is not understood by those who have been with him for decades. He smiles and he keeps quiet. He doesn't react. As long as he is in the samsara, he has to follow certain rules. On his own, without having any pressure from scriptures to follow certain rules or certain prescriptions. If ever he has to be alone, physically also alone in the world, then there shall be no rules for him. No rules for dress, no rules for food, no rules for any act. he shall be a totally free being in this creation. Hari Om.